right, Adrienne, shall we get started for this week's podcast?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are. Have you been practicing your intro
I
that
haven't,
I wrote
so
for you?
I'm going to try this
Okay,
right now.
let's see. Let's see how you do.
Yo, Adrienne! I think that's good, right?
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. It's Rocky Week on Don't Ruin This For Me.
I am officially triggered. My entire childhood was random people screaming, "Yo, Adrienne," at me. And I didn't even see Rocky until I was like 16. I had no fucking idea what they were talking about.
What a cross to bear.
You know what? Thank you for understanding.
No pain!
No pain. No pain.
But if the Rocky universe is so triggering, why did you pick Rocky IV for this week's film?
Okay. Honestly, the first reason was because you wanted a sports movie. And the second reason was I was like, obviously we should do a Rocky, but the first one's sort of boring. There's at least like an hour of like walking around Philadelphia and it's very like in a grayscale. But I remembered that Rocky IV has the Russian fighter Drago and all the super high-tech 80s technology, which is really amazing. And Rocky and Drago, like, you know, Drago's working out on this like 80s high-tech shit. And Rocky is like old school. He's running up snowy mountains. He's lifting wagons full of people. And I think it's like a metaphor about the American work ethic versus Russian. I'm not sure technology is a metaphor for ruthlessness or greed. I don't even know. I have no idea.
I mean, I absolutely love the idea that you think it's that deep. This is why I love you. I'm always
Thank
like,
you.
she's got such bright eyes.
Thank you.
I will also tell you that once when I was younger, when I went to Philadelphia for school, I walked up those stairs to that museum to see that statue.
Of course.
It was out for cleaning.
Oh, that's I have a picture of me. I'll put it on our socials where I'm doing like a Rocky jump next to the statue.
Oh my God. You got the shot.
Well, because it's a Yo Adrienne thing.
Of course.
At some point, you just have to own it.
You do. All right, Rocky IV was written and directed by Sylvester Stallone. When it was released in 1985, our favorite hometown critic, Roger Ebert, we do quote him a lot on this show.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're from Chicago.
Yes.
He's a premier Chicago critic.
Well, not only that, he was the critic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Who the hell else do we want to hear from?
Exactly.
Roper?
But here's what he says. Here's what he says, and it's pretty savage.
It's savage.
Stallone says this will be the last Rocky movie. Lies. He should have taken Rocky Marciano as an example and retired undefeated.
Ouch.
Wow!
Ouch, ouch,
painful.
ouch. No pain, Elizabeth, no pain. Ebert also bitches about all the montages in the film, which is just flat out wrong because this movie's a gem. Like, pretty much Sylvester Stallone invented the music video.
I mean, I would not be surprised. I think it was all MTV for him. And I mean, honestly, I loved this movie. I had a great time watching it yesterday until I took a nap and then I woke up and finished it.
It's only 90 minutes long.
Yeah, it's so great though. I was really tired yesterday.
It's okay.
And I am so excited about this week's guest. Alice Gleason is one of my favorite humans on this planet. I love her so much. Any roller derby fans out there will know her as Malice with Chains. I always screw that up by saying Malice in Chains.
I flipped the band name a little bit.
No, it was important. It was important. Malice with Chains, fan favorite, former co-captain of the Windy City All-Stars and a Manic Attackers, the Manic Attackers. She also played soccer and she was so dang good at it, like so dang good that she got drafted for a pro team. But this gal was like, no. And we'll find out why later.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm super excited to have an old school roller derby girl here because I feel that our listeners have not really experienced your whole roller derby story and even the way you're rolling your eyes. Like, we need another person to tell it.
I know. We always talk about this. But anyways, what have you been doing, Adrienne, this week?
You know what? Let me tell you, by the time this episode comes out, this is going to be real old news, but I've been spending a lot of time with the Love is Blind people this week. Yes. And it is amazing. There's nothing I love more than watching people make bad decisions about love.
Are there particular favorites that you have right now?
Well, no. I mean, you wouldn't like any of these people. No, there's no favorites.
Well, the one season I watched, I did like that guy who was like Shane. He was like, he was dating the Asian gal.
What? On Love is Blind?
Yes, and Love is Blind was the one with the walls where they eat.
Oh, the awful guy?
Yes.
Why did
Shane.
you let? Of course, you always like the worst fucking dude. He was like a total douchebag, like meathead.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was just like a total dope.
Why would you like him?
Because I loved all the social media memes that came out afterwards. Like, sometimes I like fall in love with a character after they're like done because people just like post really funny stories.
You would fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's so embarrassing.
Yes. Yes. And his Asian girlfriend, who's completely the opposite. It'd be like an Elizabeth sandwich.
The whole time I was like, why is his Asian girlfriend fucking this guy?
Yeah,
It's
because
so
she's super
sad.
smart.
Yes.
My week has been trash. It's been like
great.
packed full of shows and like things that I had to do and all of our podcast stuff. I mean, we are so behind, but I also am so excited about what's going to be happening for this season. It's been so fun.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to make you add more episodes already.
I don't even know why we have seasons.
Because
let's just do it until we feel like not doing it.
Because
This
we
is
record
silly.
on Sundays and
we'll just keep pumping them out.
We have lives. You start traveling. It's summer. That's why. That's why, listeners.
Yeah.
Don't let her lie to you.
I'm just saying, like, let's be like Nick Cannon and just keep making these babies.
Wait, let me ask you a question. You've been performing a lot lately.
Yes.
So post-COVID, like the world, we were performing a lot pre-COVID. COVID happened, no shows. I was not a participant in a Zoom storytelling show ever.
You're so smart.
No, I was like, I will not. But like since then, I've only performed like once. Are you digging it? You've signed up for a lot of shit, so I'm unclear of whether or not it's feeding your soul.
I can't figure that out. I can't figure it out. I feel like it's when I started coming back into doing shows, it's been people asking me that I really liked.
Right.
Our friends Claire and Archie and whatever.
Yeah.
So like I thought, this will be fun. And then people see you at shows and then they're like, hey, I really. It's hard to say no when someone's complimenting you.
Right. I know you love a compliment.
So when someone's like, I really loved you. Do you think you could do my show? And I'm like, yes. And then the day of the show, I'm like, fucking kill me. Why did I ever say yes? And last night I was at a show when someone asked me to do another show at the same time.
What show? What show did you agree to last night?
That was Extra as Fuck. That was one of our favorite guests, Nina Martinez's show.
No, I know what show you were at. What show did you agree to do now?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm at a show right now that you want me to, you're asking me to do a show at the time that you want me to be at the show.
Right.
So I was like, no, I can't do this.
I don't know. I just feel like you're full back into the scene. You know what? Keep exploring.
I gotta pull that out. I gotta pull that together. Because I have no pop culture moments this week. I mean, the best I can do is that I'm, my comfort show. Whenever I'm feeling down and I need like a pump up energy moment, I watch Law and Order SVU. It always makes me feel so great.
Yes.
And last night, I before I went to this show, I watched the one with Snoop Doggy Dogg. Did you guys know that?
I don't think he goes by Doggy Dog anymore.
No, he's just Snoop?
Yeah. Well,
shit.
or Snoop Dogg. He does not do a full Doggy Dog anymore.
Times are changing, Adrienne.
You know what? And our friend Amy Danzer, shout out to Amy, was really into his Instagram for like a long time and like was always like sending me stuff from Snoop's Instagram. But then he's got a new like Instagram handler who's sort of misogynistic. She's had to give it up.
Oh, no.
I know.
Martha Stewart hasn't taught him anything.
No, I know. We should leave some comments for him. But wait, hey, Alice, do you have a comfort show?
My comfort show for the last couple of weeks has been falling down the Taylor Swift K-hole and streaming her Eras tour and then watching TikToks of people at her Eras tour.
Wow.
I did not used to have TikTok. I downloaded it just
for Taylor.
Just to keep tabs on this tour.
Wow. Are you going? Are you going in Chicago?
We are going June 2nd.
Hell yes.
To the
Oh my
Silverfield
God.
show.
I can't believe you got tickets. Also,
Floor seats.
Wow. Did you get them through the thing or did you have to buy them secondhand?
Yeah, my cousin won the Great War and got a code to buy them, was on for 6.5
Great War.
She was on for 6.5 hours on Ticketmaster, crashing, not crashing, code working, not working, tickets disappearing out of her cart.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, I bought the ones that made it through to my cart, and she went way over our budget. But we are going. We are happy to go. And my wife legitimized the Taylor Swift K-hole by saying, hey, it's just kind of like prorating the tickets. Like we're getting 4 months of entertainment and excitement.
Right. This makes sense.
For $900.
If anyone in your group becomes ill, shoot me a text. I will go with you.
Get in line, sister. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, and 900 for the Taylor Swift. That's
Wait,
not
for
bad.
just one person or for you and your wife?
900 each.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
say
It's a
that
V-
doesn't.
It's
yeah.
a VIP package. We
Yeah,
get
yeah.
shitty pieces of paper in a box
Right.
sent to us beforehand, and we get a little lanyard and get
Yeah.
to feel special. And the
Yeah, yeah.
lanyard the lanyard lights up though, so I think that's probably where like 600 of the dollars came from.
Now, have you been a Swiftie for a while?
I was a hater for a
Yeah,
while, and one day my wife was like, "Hey, you know all the words to the song. You're singing along. You know all the words." And then I was like, "Wait a minute. I think I actually fell trapped to that media, like this person's overexposed, so
Right,
you must hate them,"
right.
and realizing that it was actually the media machine that was
Right.
overexposing
The
this person.
patriarchy, the fucking patriarchy.
Yeah, and
Taking
so
Taylor down.
I was like, okay, I'm not going to be a hater anymore. Wasn't necessarily a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Not going to be a hater. And then a couple of her albums came out, and I was like, holy moly, this person can write a song. I love it.
I love this for you.
Yeah, probably within the last 5 or 6 years was when I went full Swiftie, though.
Nice. Let me ask you something else. Are you a Rocky fan? Are you a Sylvester Stallone / Rocky fan?
I will say that I am not. I think
strong words.
I think baby Alice, I think 5, 6, 7-year-old Alice that first discovered Rocky was like, ooh, yeah, hero. But I think on the rewatch, I was like, no.
Well, let's get into it. Let's
let's
talk
talk
about the
about it.
recap. I would say it could be a lot worse. It could be a way more toxic manliness than it is.
I thought, yeah, we'll get into it. But
Okay.
one thing that I want to do is let's talk about this opening scene because I thought,
Okay. Which one? Because there's two.
Well, yes, I'm going to say that one thing I think about Rocky and how these films come out is we all really love the montages.
I love them.
So he comes out strong with
Yes.
a montage. We've got an American glove.
The Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah,
is
the
coming
Russian
on.
glove, a golden glove.
Yeah.
They're all hitting each other and
Christine,
shattering.
we're going to need some Eye of the Tiger lead into this episode.
And then we have he's fighting Ice-T. I'm not
No,
Ice-T,
Mr. T, bitch.
Mr. T from Rocky 3. So we're
Yes.
getting all these feelings back from the
Right.
prior show. And then we see Rocky.
Eye of the Tiger.
It's the thrill of the I don't remember the words. Alice is I don't know.
You don't know the
No.
fucking words to Eye of the
I
Tiger?
mean, I don't think I do.
Oh, wow.
I just know the part where it's it's the eye of. Wait, we just
That's
did that.
what we
You
were
just
just
did that.
It's the only part that really matters.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
knows
And all the music
another.
is really good. Anyway, there's all these gloves. There's Mr.
Then
T.
they explode.
I was like, this is amazing.
Fucking special
I was
effects.
I'm so excited.
This
for
is
this movie.
1985. He's slaying it.
Yes. And so we immediately go into seeing Rocky, and any Rocky fan who does not love Apollo Creed,
Fucking
you
Apollo
are not
Creed.
a Rocky fan.
Fucking Apollo Creed.
So there's Rocky and Apollo, and they are talking about getting older, and they decide that they're going to go out and fight.
You have a little
each
spar.
other.
Little spar. A friendly spar. Rocky gets a black eye. Super cute.
Just bros hitting each other in the face.
Exactly. They're boxers. They're boxers.
And then the next scene we have is Rocky's back at home. He's coming in late after the spar because he's supposed to have a party for Paulie, who's also been in many of the Rocky
He's
movies.
the trainer, and I think he is also Adrienne's father.
He's Adrienne's brother.
brother.
Okay. Wow, he's extremely older than her.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but they're related. Thank God we have Alice here.
I mean, yes, thank you. Well, because
all our Rocky fandom would have come for us online.
Well, I was going to tell you, Alice also watched Rocky 1 because Brittany had never seen it. Brittany, her wife.
to prepare.
Yes.
Yeah, get a little backstory.
I appreciate
and
that.
Here's
Appreciate that.
why this fight is important.
Right.
Let's show Rocky punching some meat.
Right.
So you know how
in the
far he's
freezer,
come.
in the fucking freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
loves punching
well,
meat.
Unfortunately, you got to re-see that in a montage later in
I
this
know.
film. Anyway, he's
Rocky's
back at home. He's got his wife Adrienne. She's cleaned up a lot since the first film.
Yeah, 'cause
they've
now
got
they're
a
rich.
kid, Rocky Jr. They even have a robot butler situation because it's the 80s.
This robot. Alice texted me and she's like, the robot.
I mean, it's like short circuit, like the fucking robot wheels in and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it doesn't even really make any sense.
No, there's no reason for it to
And
be there.
Paulie said the right thing. He was like, why'd you get me a robot? I wanted a sports car.
But then he programs the robot to have a sexy voice.
Yes. Yeah. It's a straight up AI moment. It's very prescient now that we're watching it,
Right.
you know?
And in the meantime, there's this news story that breaks out that there is going to be a Russian heavyweight fighter named Drago.
Ivan Drago, he is coming to U.S.
Yes, and he's like super impressive. You know, all this technology
He's
in
pretty
Russia.
hot.
He's a pretty boy.
He's like 6'5" and like
He's a little Ken Dolly for me.
Yeah, I mean, like he's not. I'm just saying it's a look. Like
Yes.
he's very fucking tall.
He is definitely a machine.
Because Brigitte Nielsen is his wife.
Gorgeous.
And she's about
How beautiful
7
is she?
feet tall.
Yes,
Like she's
beautiful.
super tall. They're together and they're just these like fucking blonde Russians coming to America and he wants to fight Rocky.
Yeah, well, and the Russians are saying like, look, we have manufactured basically the world's perfect
Right.
boxing machine.
Right.
And you see scenes of him like punching bags, and he hits like this computer bag, and, then
says
it just like
1,850 pounds.
Bam!
I mean, like literally you would decapitate a bitch, but
Yes.
we'll take it.
I was like, and then, so, you know, Rocky and Apollo are watching this news program and they're like, we want to come in to do a demonstration fight. Like, it's supposed to be like a fun fight.
Exhibition.
It's not,
It's an exhibition.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just saying.
And Rocky and Apollo, like, I don't know what's happening at this moment, but Apollo gets this crazy ass idea that after 5 years of not fighting, he can fight this machine.
Right, and there's no training time. I mean, this is an amazing moment in this script.
Yes.
Like, none of it makes sense because the guy challenges Rocky, and Apollo's like, "No, I'll do it."
Well, Apollo felt his swag slipping away.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He's like, we're
Yeah.
getting older,
Yeah.
and he mentioned something about like
Yeah.
nobody wants your picture anymore. No
Right.
one wants to be at the party with you.
Right.
So I think he feels his swag slipping away. So he's
Right.
like,
Yes.
let me wedge myself in here.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is actually really important because in that scene he also says to Rocky, like, we are fighters. This is
Right.
what we're meant to do. And Rocky's
Right.
like, dude, you can't do this fight. Rocky was not wrong.
Rocky says, I wrote it down. They're changing. They're turning into regular people. Apollo can't fucking have that.
Yes.
Not regular people, bitch. No.
Yes, and then Adrienne's at the table too, and Adrienne's like, guys, like, stop, just quit. Like,
Yeah.
you're this is too far, too long. But you know what? Apollo does whatever the fuck he wants.
We never even hear a word from his wife.
She just shows up at the fight, like,
Beautiful
it's super
purple
wild.
eyeshadow,
Yes,
but she
gorgeous
doesn't get to
woman.
speak.
So they get to this fight. Okay, can we talk about this scene, guys?
It
'Cause
is
this
a
amazing.
spectacle. It's amazing. It's happening in Las Vegas.
James
and
Brown is there.
First of all, James Brown is
living in
America. There's an entire, I mean, literally, Sly Stallone just commits to the musical bits in this movie.
Yes.
This goes on. He sings the entire song.
Vegas showgirls.
Yes.
Guys in top hats.
Yes, James Brown sings the entire song, and then down from the sky comes Apollo dressed like a 4th of July in glitter. Like he's like in a glittery top hat, sequins like outfit. I mean,
Well, let's talk about Drago's perspective. So
Yeah.
Drago is like at the bottom of this like basement, and the
communism.
the ring gets like it rises up from the
Yes.
ground,
Yeah.
and he like stands there, and he's just there like a regular boxer.
Yeah.
And when he comes up, and the ring is finally up on stage, he is like blown away. Like he
Yes.
has no idea what
So
is
many
happening.
people.
Yes.
So many showgirls.
So the fight starts.
Yes.
Apollo dies.
Knocked his block off.
I wrote Drago kills Apollo in the ring, like literally dead. Though the little when he falls on his face and he does a couple like seizure moments,
Yeah.
those are pretty impactful. That hurt my heart.
And like
They
when
help you know that his spinal column has disconnected from his brainstem.
Oh.
Alice, I don't know
so
that I
true.
needed that
It's
much
also true.
information.
It's also true. And right before the fight, actually, there's like a scene where Ivan's wife, Brigitte Nielsen, is like goes up to Apollo's wife and says, "I hope we can still be friends after
Yes,
this."
we be friends. They're just sportsmen, not soldiers. And then he kills him. It's
Yes,
a
and I think
bummer.
Apollo's wife is like probably like, "Fuck you, bitch."
Yeah.
We don't need to be friends.
Right.
And after that happens, we see Rocky at the funeral.
Yeah.
Rocky says, you know, there's
I don't know what I can say about Apollo.
Okay.
He's
Also,
a good man.
this reminds me that I think Sylvester Stallone was hot.
She
I was
texted
like,
me.
I was like, those brown eyes. What is happening to me?
He's like not hot, but
No,
also
his-
hot. It's
yes.
very odd. Alice, weigh in.
As the resident lesbian, I was a athletic, little toe-headed kid, I wanted to be Drago.
Yeah.
Rocky was obviously the hero that was fed to us. But as an adult woman, I would absolutely fuck Drago.
Drago's hot, dude.
hot, yeah.
And Brigitte Nielsen never lets him talk. Fucking total bonus points, right? Like the only thing he says is "You will lose." The whole movie. That's
yes,
it.
and
It's hot.
and she's also really gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know. But when Rocky is talking about Apollo and they like do these close up of his face, his like eyes are perfectly round with like these long lashes.
But they're
this,
not.
Like, really
One is lower than the
it's
other.
Like, and then his mouth is all messed up and his
one is
hair is
like
all
this.
bad. It's like you and your brown eyes. So he gets home and he's taking some time off because he needs to like think about Apollo. And he comes home and he tells Adrienne that he must seek revenge.
It's fucked up.
What does Adrienne say?
You're gonna lose.
Well, before that, she says you're willing.
Can't win.
She says you're willing to lose everything. We can come back to this, but this is, I thought, Sly really reaching for something here. But she's like, you're willing to lose everything, and he says, "This ain't everything, Adrienne."
I don't understand.
Yeah,
He
well-
just watched his friend die.
Right.
Yeah. And then
Right.
he's like, I want that guy to punch me in the head.
Right. We'll come back to that part, but it's interesting.
We're never going to get rid of toxic masculinity in the
No.
80s. But
No.
it's. I actually thought that this scene was really well written in terms of like what Rocky could do, right?
Yeah, it's
like it's very touching, and she's obviously very concerned, and they have had a journey. Like we know by Rocky IV that they have had a journey together.
I'm a fighter. You married a fighter.
That's my favorite line.
Anyway, then we go into another bonkers montage.
The greatest montage ever.
Where Rocky's driving his sports car, and we see basically all the first three movies. Interspersed with Drago working out and hitting Apollo.
Also, one of my favorite scenes from all the Rockies movies is when Apollo and Rocky are like running on the beach.
Fuck yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
Yes,
like
really
in
short
tiny
shorts.
and they jump in the water and
Yes.
hug each other. It's so homoerotic.
It is everything that I really wish that roller derby had been. Like, I was like, I just want to run in this beach. So the video montage happens. There's a great 80s soundtrack that's going
great.
on about like heartbreak and heartfelt and like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we see,
He's in Russia.
he's flown to Russia.
And you know what happens next? Another montage.
Well, my favorite thing is like they get to Russia and Polly is like, look at this shithole. And I was looking at the cabin and I was like, oh, this would definitely be on Airbnb today.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely,
people would be
for sure.
like, let me pay $300 a night for this place.
Right, to stay in the middle of nowhere. Polly's very upset. He's like,
Yes.
there's no Wi-Fi.
And then the Russians also have like a team tailing Rocky. And Rocky's
Right.
like, who are those guys?
Who
And they're-
them?
Right. And then the guys are like, well, they've
They've
been assigned to you.
They're just like in a car.
Yes.
In fur hats.
And I know I just said that we just saw the most exciting and best montage of all the Rocky films when he's in his car.
But it gets
I'm
better.
wrong. I'm
It
wrong.
gets better. This one is the very best because I cannot lie. So I wrote a book recently and I have like a moment in the book that I ape after a Rocky montage, which I'm not even sure that I told you about.
No, you didn't tell me.
So I have seen all of these Rocky montages of training numerous times on YouTube. And this is definitely the best one. He's running because it's like Drago is all technology, but the technology is hilarious. It's like he has like a rowing machine.
And he has a climbing machine.
Right. But Rocky, on the other hand, is the original CrossFit bitch.
Yes.
He's carrying fucking logs and going through the snow. He's like fucking chopping wood. He's running up the mountain. It's fucking hot.
Yeah, that running up the mountain scene is definitely like a
Yeah.
callback to the running up the stairs scene.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I actually cheered.
Yes.
I knew he was going to get up there.
Right.
I've seen this movie
Well,
before.
by the time he got to the top, I was like, this is very unsafe. There's no ropes. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is not this is literally a peak now.
Yes, but then we're watching him do so many incredible things with his body. I mean,
That
he's
part
like,
was hot. Did you find that to
he's
be
like
hot?
slick and oily.
Not hot. Not attracted to a Sylvester Stallone.
But what about when
But-
he's on his shoulders and
When
he's
he's got the-
levitating? Like he's got his whole body like
Doing the barn sit-ups where
Yeah.
he's like, okay. You
That
know,
was hot.
Yeah. Like male form body, yes. It's the face, not so much.
Yeah.
I liked when he had like the yoke on him, like
Yes,
the oxen
yes,
yoke,
yes.
and he's running, lifting the people in the
Yes.
wagon.
Yes. Adrienne's in the wagon. Paulie's in
Yes.
the wagon. The other trainer's in the wagon.
Duke.
And he's like,
and like his veins are like popping in his forehead. And
I mean, his body is
so
legit
wild.
sick. He's hanging from the rafters doing like sit-ups. I mean, his body is fucking sick.
But then montage gets interrupted because why?
Adrienne's back. She's a stalwart woman. She knows what she married. It's a fighter.
I knew that I was super tired at this point because when they hug and she's like, I will always be here for you.
Always.
Like my eyes watered up. And I was like, I was, because for some reason I thought this was the one where she finally leaves him, because at some point she leaves him, I think, in the Rocky series.
So.
But I was just like, oh, I can't. This is so lovely. And then my second thought was like, where the fuck is your kid?
Right.
She doesn't
them
bring him to
kids.
Russia, but I will say it's a lot to ask of a woman to like see you potentially be killed in a boxing ring right after your close friend
Absolutely.
was killed in the boxing ring like a month prior. Yes. And you're also old and had not been training. But
Yes.
okay.
But he is training because
Well,
we're
now
back
he
to the
is.
montage.
Oh, and back on the montage, Drago's on steroids. That's pretty important. And the parallel. This is great. Rocky's back, climbing the mountain, running. He loses his tail. The Russians, their car spins out, right? And at the same time, Drago's on a treadmill, but his trainers are like, more. They're pressing the button, and he's going like fucking vertical. And
Yes,
Rocky's going
on his
vertical
treadmill.
up the mountain. And then, Drago, he doesn't make it, but Rocky does.
Rocky's
What a moment.
Drago's got to tap out.
Yeah.
Rocky
It's a
gets
little
to the top and yells,
foreshadowing.
Drago!
Oh, yeah. That's foreshadowing.
Get some
Yeah.
some 80s not stable cam helicopter
Yes.
footage that definitely made me sick.
You could definitely tell it was not the drone era. Anyway, it's time for the fight.
Yes. And this
Yes.
is also wild, right? Because we've already had this like parallel. It's going to be a parallel to what the American one is.
Right,
of
'cause now
course,
we're in Russia.
America versus Russia.
Yeah.
And this one's a little bit colder, right? Like we see them, they all get to the stage, very normal kind of way. But then suddenly the whole audience rises up and all the I guess politicians are all standing
Yes.
up, because I'm not sure exactly why there's a whole panel of politicians at this fight.
Well, I think the whole crowd was in military dress.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're
So
right.
they
yes.
must have been like Russian conscripts that were like, please come and cheer.
Yeah.
It's happening probably at a military base. We don't know.
And then they all get up to like deal with the Russian national anthem, and then this beautiful like flag, or would you think it's a flag or like some kind of like artwork comes up?
Tapestry.
Oh, that's of
a great
Drago.
word. Yes.
Yes.
Where it's like his like kind of an anime look to him.
Well, it's
and,
like an artist rendering.
and all you're seeing
Yeah.
are like the
He's
camera.
hot.
The camera pans to Drago and the camera pans to Sylvester Stallone, and then back and forth, and they're just like beating with sweat.
It's hot.
And we are going to kick off this fight,
Yeah.
which of course is very long. They go
It goes for a long
12
time.
rounds.
As many as they can.
Yes.
They just
Lot of
keep
hitting.
going. And
Lot of
I
hitting.
would say that like as a sports movie, like it is pretty exciting to watch the fight. You know, you kind of what's going to happen. But they did a good job in like balancing the fight to like make everyone like be like, "Oh my god, what's going to happen?"
There was
What's gonna
this
happen?
one time where Drago slugs Rocky on the side of his face.
Oh,
and
his
whole
jaw.
it's in slow motion, and his whole lips go. "Roar." And I did think sweat flies off. I did think like, how'd they shoot? Did they really hit him? Like, what's going on here? They must have really hit him.
I mean, I don't know, but it was like it's so intense, and even like
Yes.
they did the same thing to Drago's face. And the fight is actually, like I said, for a sports movie, I think they did a good job in building the
Yeah.
tension, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then Rocky wins.
But no, you're missing a
Wait,
point.
I
There's
did.
like a turn where, like, the Duke is like, "Hey, look, you got him. He's not a machine. He's a man."
Take him in the heart. Take him in the heart.
And there's the whole no pain, no pain, no pain, no pain. And then there's the whole the crowd starts cheering for Rocky.
Right.
And you're
Oh,
like,
right.
well, this
That's the part.
doesn't
That's
make
the
any
important part.
fucking sense, but his body looks sick. So I'm like, okay, we'll go with it. But then he wins, and then he gives a speech about diplomacy and peace, and even the Russian politicians get on their feet. And you know what? The bottom line is
America.
It's fucking great. It was a great
God.
time. It's 90 minutes, and I would say 30 of those are montage. So
Yes.
jump in. Everybody could watch it.
It doesn't require a lot of
It's accessible.
concentration. Yeah.
Anyway, but the whole point of watching this movie is that we wanted to talk about like being an athlete and why pushing your bodies to the limit. What do you get out of it? Like, I mean, I think being a boxer looks literally fucking insane, but I would also say that probably about roller derby. Like, I don't want to get hit by any fucking girls. Like, not really. So tell us about
No,
it.
I'll let Alice tell the story, but I just want to say that in the same realm, I started roller derby, this league, when I was 30 years old.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a young chick.
I was going to say you were too old to be getting fucking hit in the head.
Right.
And
I
you
had
2 children.
Definitely had no idea what I was doing. I completely accept all responsibilities for every mistake I made in roller derby, which was a lot. But when I met Alice, and I thought about this when I was driving to the podcast today, I was like, Alice and I kind of had an Apollo-Rocky moment when I first met Alice. Do you want to tell the story?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had gotten myself to a bout somehow and was like, I need to see as many of these as I can. And hunted down wherever, I think it was MySpace, wherever the Windy City Rollers were going to be handing out flyers next. And I
think it was Renegade Craft Fair.
I saw Elizabeth at Renegade Craft Fair, and I said, hey, this just absolutely blew my mind. I really want to do it. But I had back surgery a couple of years ago. What is training like? And, do you think I can do it? And she's like, no.
I was like, absolutely fucking not.
But please buy tickets to the next bout.
And then this bitch shows up at tryouts.
I had my own Rocky moment. I went out. I bought a pair of skates. I went to the rink. I was like, all right, I'm not going to fuck my back up too much. I'll go show her. and skated for a couple years after that. And it was,
Yes.
Was it
great.
fine?
It was absolutely the time of my life.
I'm like, did you hurt your back?
I didn't, not directly from roller derby. It was always just going to be its own issue.
Okay.
But it was, if we can equate like the training for roller derby, it was all like by us, for us. So it was like very rocky in the Ural Mountains of Russia. It was, high knees, lifting cans of soup instead of weights. We had to make do with whatever we had because it was a shoestring budget.
Yeah, doing Bulgarian squats in Wicker Park. Like we would go up there on like Sunday mornings or like Saturday mornings. And did you ever go to those, the park workouts?
So I missed those. Those were more first season.
Yeah.
But in subsequent seasons, after, because I believe one of the skaters was a personal trainer. So
Ivana Krusha.
So she ran a lot of those sessions. I had a coaching background and sports background. So other women with similar talents, PE teachers, whatever, we would then run those Saturday workouts. We never made it to the parks, but
we used to do like full on workouts, like leapfrogging in the parks, and we would all like show up because at the time the first season gals were probably the messiest gals, right? Like we had no idea what we were doing, and we were like smoking at the games. Like we would smoke in the middle of like the bouts.
I mean,
we were
that sounds
like,
great.
Yes. And then we would show up in these like for these workouts with like mascara smeared on our face, smelling like vomit from like whoever threw up.
Well, that
the night
continued
before.
in subsequent seasons as well. First season was a little more punk rock. Second season, more athletes joined.
Yes.
The size of the league grew a bunch, and I think a lot of female athletes that had never had an opportunity like this joined on, and so it kind of turned from, it was still pretty punk, but it turned more athletic. I think.
Yeah, I think that definitely your class of the Derby gals like really changed the whole perspective in a positive way, where we weren't like hurting ourselves all the time because we had no idea what we were doing, like I said. But like talk to us a little bit about what made you want to join at that point. Because how old were you at that point?
I was probably 25 or 6.
Okay, still, I mean, for sports, 25 is not young.
She's already had a surgery.
Right.
Yes.
I've already had a surgery.
So tell us why you're going to risk your back for the Derby. You're Apollo in this story.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So and I think that's where also I can relate a little bit to the like, I know I can do more. I'm not done yet. The swag was slowly drifting away from me. Like, wait, no, I need to get that back. Let's go do something dangerous. So
I think Enneagram 7 in the house.
I think I had more in me to give, and I was kind of burnt out on soccer at that point. I'd been playing soccer for 20 something years, and I think I kind of had taken it as far as I could.
Yeah.
And you can't really get to that high level without wanting and needing to aspire to more and more and more. But I wasn't good enough that I was going to be starting, so I'd be doing all this work to sit on the bench, and I'm not doing that. I'm going to go be the best roller derby player.
Nice.
I love that.
I love that calculus.
So when you decided to join, what was appealing to you about coming into the league?
I think I knew the power of strong women teammates. and that very much appealed to me. I think I also, seeing the punk rock side of it, there were fake fights and stuff like that. Maybe some
first
real
season,
ones,
yeah,
and maybe some real ones. I grew up watching like WWE, and then after wrestling was Glow, and then after Glow was roller derby. So I'd seen a bit of it before, and I think I knew at that point, having these experiences on teams with women, it's a lot. There's a lot of personalities. There's a lot of...
Oh, yes.
There's a lot to navigate. And I think I knew that with my previous experience of being on teams with strong personalities and differing goals and differing aspirations, I think I knew I could handle that. And I think I knew that I had some talents and some experience that I could lend to that as well. And then also seeing that, hey, it was more punk rock. I'm an athlete, but I'm kind of punk too. So I think I can fit in well here. And it just looked like a blast.
Yeah. In those first seasons, though, you guys hit each other. Like elbows in the face.
We've, for sure.
Because now it's a little more, like, tame to watch. There's a lot of rolling in a circle, right? But, like, back in the day...
Yeah, I would say that because the rules kind of changed later in the years. I think after we were done, that made the game very slow. But at the time that we were doing it, we were definitely out to, like, hurt each other.
Yeah, those first years of roller derby was a lot more skate fast, turn left, hit hard.
Yes.
Yeah. and with the changes in the rules, it's gotten a lot more strategic, and it's gotten a lot slower sometimes. Yeah. And it's more about trapping rather than sending the girl flying into the cooler.
And we definitely broke a lot of bones the first couple of years because we were just like, we were really, really aggressive in a way that I feel like is awesome. Like finding that power, I didn't know that I had that in me, and starting the league and then like being able to be in these positions where, you know, it's just it's a way where you're like helping other people and you're also like protecting your own. So there's something like very like mama about it, you know, and being able to know that like I could actually set my mind to something and train and like do all the things because my team needed this from me was like super empowering to me. It changed my life. It changed the way that I became a person. One of the things that Adrienne always says about me is that I'm really good at conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. And that absolutely came from derby, don't you think?
It definitely is needed there. Yeah. Because with any team, again, whether it's a team at work or a sports team, you're going to have people with different aspirations and people with different skill sets. And you have to find a way to make their skill sets work the best for the team while also helping them reach their individual and their team goals. And I don't know if you ever thought about it that deeply or if you were just putting out fires the whole time. But that is something that, like, coaches do, project managers do, you know, managers of teams at other occupations do.
Yeah. I think that the conflicts that came up, I think were a lot for me, wasn't so much team based because I think you were you're a captain, so you were like really thinking about strategy and things like that. For me, I thinking a lot more. I dealt with a lot more of the drama, you know, people like telling on each other and like poking at each other and starting fights with each other. And so that was a completely like different way, I think, to approach conflict, which is something that we've talked about too, because when I first met you, I always said, you know, conflict's a hard thing, but it's like, it wasn't easy for you to always say like, fuck you to people. and I think that's changed
now
for
it's
you
really
too.
easy.
Yeah, so I think it's changed for you.
Yeah. I think that's definitely true.
Yeah. And what do you think that shift is, though? Like, where do you think you find that power?
I think some of it is just getting fucking older and getting like tired of bullshit, you know, and being like, you know what, at this point, like I'm 43 and like if we disagree, that's fine. I mean, I will say the one thing, though, that you're really good about conflict, or that I've seen you do actively, is like look someone in the eyes and express your love for them. So they feel safe having this conflict moment with you. And it's like wild to watch. Can you get in a fight with her and we can demonstrate? I mean, you're really good at it. But the thing that I always think about the roller derby, like, and what you guys are saying, like, listen, I love teams. I love gals. Like, I love all of this. I'd love the drama, too. It's the, like, hitting each other and being, like, potentially hurt that I'm like, oh, I couldn't join this club.
It is very unique, right? If you're doing it right, there is an area of your body that is supposed to collide, right? Your shoulder to your mid-thigh. You're not supposed to be hitting the head. So there are some safety measures. One of the first things they teach you on day one is how to fall.
Yeah.
And that's what you do for the first week or two. Before you are hitting each other, before you're doing anything else, it's how do you fall? Because it's very important to hit the ground correctly and to minimize impact.
And you already knew how to do that from soccer.
I was very body aware.
Yeah.
I was a goalkeeper in soccer.
Oh, shit.
So I
That's
absolutely knew which parts of my body should hit the ground and how to minimize impact and also how to fall to get up quickly as well. So I had a bit of that already. It's a different way of falling in roller derby, obviously. And sometimes you can't control how you're falling. But if you practice it enough, you hopefully won't get hurt while doing it.
Yeah, I think practicing falls is very important because also you get broken that way. It's easy to get broken. I mean, we had a really terrible situation in Cicero. What was it, their second or third season?
I think it was the third season.
Yeah. We had a skater, shout out to Tequila Mockingbird if you're not listening. Probably not, because she's moved on to greater things. But she was a skater who, I mean, this story is so awful, but she fell and never got back up, basically. And I think part of that was like our skates would get tangled in each other, and when you're like in this massive pile on the ground, like how everyone gets up and like everyone's feet are flying, it was really, really, it could be really dangerous. You know, we lost a lot of legs. People not lost them, but lots of people broke their legs, had to get like metal put into it. Collarbones were broken, arms were broken. But
concussions.
Concussions.
A lot of concussions.
Oh yeah, I definitely, I'm a victim of several concussions. And I think that as we were progressing from like being a kind of an amateur league that didn't really know what we were doing, we started to notice all these things. And then everyone, not just our league, but the whole country was like, how do we prevent these injuries from happening? And the problem with that, I think, is that the reason the audience comes is because they want to see that.
Yeah.
They get excited to see like this
like
full,
boxing.
Yes, like this full contact sport.
Yeah.
And then as we got more and more smarter about it, I think people were like a little bit more like, oh, this is not as fun if you don't see someone get hurt, which is kind of fucked up.
Absolutely.
Well, this goes back to exactly the scene with Rocky and Adrienne, right?
Right.
And I'm Adrienne in this scene where I'm like, maybe you shouldn't lose everything. Like, maybe you shouldn't risk getting like paralyzed or really hurt. And he's like, this ain't everything. He's talking about like capitalism. He's like the house, you know, and the cars. That's not what she's talking about. She's talking about like their child and their fucking marriage and like whatever. So I thought the scene like worked, but could have been delved a little more. But I still think it's like, it's interesting because then like, what is the everything? You know, what is the thing that puts you back out there and putting yourself at risk? Like, I think he's saying that he doesn't say it, but I think we're supposed to extrapolate that his is about honor or some man thing.
Purely ego driven. Yeah. Right. He's got to defend Apollo's honor. This man who was just killed in the ring by getting punched in the head.
Right. When Rocky told him not to do it and everyone knew he was going to lose. And Rocky doesn't throw the towel in. That's another thing we haven't talked about, which is
because Apollo says not to.
Right. But Apollo's getting his ass beat and Rocky knows that he should throw the towel in because he's getting really fucking hurt, and he doesn't until the final blow.
I would say that my feeling when Rocky and Adrienne are having that conversation is that Rocky does recognize that it's also about family. Like, I think he does see that, but he's just kind of like, this is not enough. Like, just being a family man's not going to be enough for me.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, we could talk about this, Alice, is the idea of like how much work we put in to play this game.
Yeah.
You know, and how much time you have to sacrifice. I mean, how much time do you think you were doing?
I think at the height of my roller derbydom, it was probably between actual training, talking with people, planning everything, it was probably 15 plus hours a week.
I would estimate higher even.
Probably higher.
Because we had promotions too and the marketing stuff.
Oh God, I forgot about
that.
Yes.
And so I mean, I would say it was like for me it was like at one point it was a full-time job. I would say later on in the years it was probably a part-time job. But that means like we were working full-time and then we'd sacrificed everything else outside of it. And nothing to me for a while, like I think I definitely was like a Rocky in terms of like nothing mattered to me more than like making this game happen.
Yeah, my career kind of lulled field for a while there, and I was okay with it. At some point, I realized that it was a conscious decision. I was like, I'm not going to really push at work or aspire for more there because I've got about 2 more years of doing this. And I kind of put that on hold. A lot of failed relationships, romantic or familial relationships, because of the time commitment. And I think also, it changed. Doing something like roller derby, it's so powerful for the people that are involved in it. It's this family, and it's this nobody knows what we're going through except for us.
Yeah,
that it forms very special relationships.
Yeah, like hardcore relationships. And I think you learn so much about yourself, right? Like you learn that you can really push yourself. So Adrienne had an older athlete moment in her life, which is when she met me. And I started, because obviously I just love clubs.
You do.
So I started, maybe probably from the derby, because I've always I love that, the connection you're talking about, that like desire of like feeling like family, like the Fast and the Furious, we're family moments is like so important to me. And so I decided that I would start this bike team with Anita Applebaum. Hi, Anita. And Adrienne, I somehow roped into doing it.
It's true.
But Adrienne had a whole thing, because this is going to be where things are going to get heated in this conversation.
Let me ask her. Let me ask her.
Listen, let me prep this.
No, do not bias
We
Alice.
are going to get into such a fight.
Do not bias Alice. I want to just ask you. Okay, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that some people are natural athletes or no?
Yes.
No, that's not the question.
That's my fucking question.
No, that's not.
That's my fucking question.
Okay, let me explain. I'm going to give you the history.
See, but you're biasing her.
No, I'm not.
You're biasing
this
her.
is where the argument comes in. So,
hold your answer in your head because you're being biased.
Okay, so one of the things that used to drive me really batshit crazy with Adrienne is we would get on our bikes, right? We would be riding our bikes. And, I've been riding my bike for like 20 years. And so it would be like super easy to ride my bike. But Adrienne had just basically learned to ride. I mean, she didn't learn to ride a bike that year, but it was like the first time you'd been on a bike in forever. And she's not like a regular biker. And we would ride for a while, and she'd get tired, and she'd be like, well, I'm just not a natural athlete. And I'd be like, it's not about being a natural athlete. Like, you're dismissing all of my time that I've put into this, right?
This part we agree upon. I don't disagree with this part. The part I disagree with, Alice, are some people natural athletes?
I think there absolutely are.
Thank you.
I think, though,
Alice is a natural goalie. I can tell.
I think, though, where the nuance in the conversation that I'm picking up is.
It makes me so mad.
This is well-trodden ground.
Because let me tell you, as somebody that's run numerous soccer camps, roller derby workouts, there are some people that just cannot, they don't have the coordination to do certain things like footwork drills or whatever. I think the nuance of what you guys are talking about is how hard are you willing to push your body?
Yeah.
If you've never pushed yourself harder than X, then you've never been past X, and you don't know that you can get past X.
Yes.
And I think what Elizabeth is saying is that it's not your athleticism, it's your fear of, am I going to poop myself?
Yes.
Am I going to vomit if I go harder than whatever?
All of this I agree with, and all of this I openly say you taught me.
Yeah, no, but I'm just
saying fundamentally, I believe, because you can see it with your fucking eyes. There are certain people that are just naturally inclined.
Even if you are naturally inclined to do something like play soccer and do all the footwork, right? Even if you're if you do not practice it.
Yes, but I agree with that.
I feel like when you ask, are people athletically inclined, that's physical.
Yes.
And I think the mental is where I think the disagreement is happening, is that like, you don't know that you have the eye of the tiger.
Right.
Yes.
No, and I agree.
Yes.
I'm saying she taught me these things for sure. Like, listen, when I should also say,
we've been having this fight for like 7 years.
She took me to get a bike, which was so loving. I mean, Elizabeth has definitely supported and loved and taken care of me for many years in ways that have grown me as a person. I need to also say this was a very shitty bike.
Yes,
it was,
of course,
very heavy.
The seat fell down.
Its seat was broken. She taught me how to use my gears incorrectly because she doesn't remember her lefts and her rights. So listen, this doesn't negate any of the beauty that she brought me, but but there are reasons that perhaps I was tired because she taught me to use the gears wrong going up the fucking hill on a 100-pound bike.
Every time she's like, I'm like, go left.
Yes, and she goes the other way.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, what's happened?
Awful about that.
And truthfully, yes, I was obviously very scared. I didn't like riding my bike in the city. I still am not like, let's be killed on Milwaukee. Like, I'm not trying to take risks like that. But yes, I mean, we trained. She pushed me into doing things that I could have never done. And I do believe I'm not naturally athletic, but from the things that we have talked about, yes, obviously the fear and the training, like I did things that I never thought I could do, for sure.
And I agree with Alice. Is like if you don't know that you're naturally inclined until you're pushed into doing something to know that, you know.
But no, because I know I'm not naturally inclined because we did those things. We literally, Elizabeth and I rode like almost 400 miles across Ohio in 5 fucking days. It was like 90 degrees. There was no water. Like we were riding like 80 miles a day
uphill.
It was super fucking hard, and I did it. But at no point like was I like, oh yes, this is my soul. I don't even know if I like biking, Alice, to be honest.
Well, this is a great question because I think like part of it's too that you joined it as like an older person, so your body is not the same way as it was when like Alice started playing soccer.
Right.
So when did you start playing soccer, and then like how much of your gap was between soccer and derby, and what did you feel like was the difference between those two bodies?
So I played all of the sports growing up. Started soccer when I was 5. Got really
natural athlete.
Got really competitive. Got really into it, and kind of knew soccer was going to be my focus. And about junior high is when I said I want to be a goalie. Even though I was one of the better field players, I said I want to play goalie. High school got pretty competitive on it. Played on like a junior Olympic team, like a regional Olympic team. And then in college played at a very high level, like where we had, this is my Drago moment, where we had like Nike research and development coming to our team to have us test products.
Oh my God.
And we had lifting coaches, and we had, different in-season and off-season programs. And then when I was drafted, so that would be about 2002, 2003, and then roller derby was 2004, 2005. So I was still in pretty good shape, not great shape, back surgery under my belt, had stepped away from competitive soccer and was coaching, but still, running, playing, demoing, like diving on the ground still with my teammates.
And now, like your body, how does your body feel? You're feeling like... Are you feeling it? I mean, because derby is hard on, like, I can't jump anymore. My knees, like, anytime I'm doing, like, exercises, and they're like, do a jumping jack. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I do, like, the jumping step outs.
Yeah, my body was a real wreck after roller derby. There were a number of ways I wasn't taking care of my body well.
Drinking beer.
Yeah. I mean, after these 2 or 3 hour practices, going out to the bars and, not getting enough sleep, and then, going to work and then doing it all over again the next day. So no real good recovery, and just, again, drinking a lot, not taking great care of my body. After roller derby, I did about 3 solid years of hot yoga to kind of unwind my body and let it heal. And that also really taught me the importance, where I kind of was finally paying better attention of what does my back actually need, doing a lot more core, doing a lot more stretching. And, with roller derby and with soccer, it's very right leg dominant. It's it's very bipolar activities where it's very one-sided. You are turning left all the time in roller derby. In soccer, I was right-footed, so all of my kicks, all of my throws were all on my right hand side. So doing yoga really helped me kind of even out, and now I've got a whole lot better balance of like how I treat my body and how I train.
Yeah. So when you were younger and you're running versus when you're older and you're skating, how did that feel? Like, did you notice a big difference, or is it because you were training for so long that it just kind of naturally felt okay?
Yeah, I think it was okay, learn the movement, and then okay, it's this repetitive movement, and here's how you step out of it, and here, if you get off balance, here's how you get back into it.
Man, that's not how it felt for me.
Did you do any high school sports before?
No.
I mean, like, you were just like, I'll start a fucking sport? Like, literally found it?
It was so weird. Like I always tell that people, like, I was in the middle of my divorce when I started the Windy City Rollers. And prior to that, I had never done anything. But my marriage was hard. I felt very unhappy, and I couldn't. I think I was like too young to know or to understand that I could express these feelings. Like I didn't know that I could be like, this marriage does not make me happy, and this is why I need to get out of it. So at some point, after I had the kids, the way for me to get to and from work was biking. So I got an old bike, and I would bike to and from work every day. That was like 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back. So then every day I had like my own piece, and at the time I was working with Kelly, who's Sister Sledgehammer, who helped me start the roller derby league, and she was into running. So one day she's like, winter came, and she's like, let's start running at this gym. So I would run at the gym. But at this point, I'm still like 27 years old when all this is starting. And then I did like my first 10-mile race, which I thought was a 5K. I was completely wrong.
This sounds exactly like you.
Yes. I was like, oh shit, this is a really long run. And then we decided to do Cowabunga for the first time. So those are like, I'm in my late 20s when I'm first exposed to exercise and fitness in any way. And I just had so much fun in it, because I think really what the truth was like, it gave me a place to run.
Yeah.
And I think this is also the truth for like why kids and like city youth really, really need sports, is because it's a place where you can like find solace and like be quiet and settle down and just be in the moment and be present. And then I saw the Texas Roller Girls had a documentary coming out called Hell on Wheels, and I watched these like chicks in fishnets with red lipstick, like beating the shit out of each other and skating, and I was like, oh my God, I really want to do this. And so I wrote to them, and I wrote to a bunch of people, and they were all like, well, there's not a league in Chicago. And I was like, oh darn. And then they were like, well, why don't you start one? And I was like, well, I didn't put any skates on since I was like 12. And they were all like, yeah, so what? And then I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And it changed my life. I mean, it changed my whole trajectory. And I love sports now. I love to watch them. I love to like be part of them. I don't like running as much. Like running, soccer, I could never play soccer.
Yeah. So with soccer, for my training, especially as a goalkeeper, a lot of it was like short sprints.
Yeah.
Right. So footwork over and over and over again, short sprints, or do a short little sprint and then come back and then throw your body in the air and, don't let the ball get behind you. So, yeah, the straight up running, I after about 3 miles, I tap out and I'm like, well, why would I ever do more than this?
Exactly.
Just let me outrun the slowest buffalo so that when the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm not gotten.
Now, were your parents like really into you being an athlete?
Absolutely.
Okay, because the way I grew up was my parents either ignored me or my mom was like on 10 about my safety. Like if you were just like walking, she'd be like, oh, you could fall over. Like no one would have ever encouraged me to purposely jump and fall down.
Well, it was the other thing, because when we first met, because how old were you when we first met?
I don't know. I'm 43, so
you were probably in your
37,
30s.
36.
So when she decided to join the bike team, she told her mother, she was like, I'm going to do this bike ride. It's going to be 100 miles in one day. And her mom was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that your parents' like encouragement for that really helped you develop your natural skill?
100%. They, I think it was number one, a way to get me out of the house. Like even if it wasn't organized sports and I was, bumping around the house and didn't know what to do, my mom said, go run some stink off. Put me outside, close the door, come home when the street lights come on. So, and then absolutely, they were incredible about, my interest in sports and athletics growing up, took me to all the practices, bought me the gear, came to all the games.
Aww.
And you're in a soccer league
Alice,
now, right?
that's
You started.
Yeah.
She joined another soccer team.
I love Alice. I love her parents being supportive.
Yeah, I'm on a team with about 10 to 11, maybe 12 rotating women. I think all of us I think the youngest person on our team is 38. So like 38 to 43, 44, where every Thursday night we go out and play against other 40 to 60-year-old women.
Where is this happening?
Berwyn.
No, it's the games are in Palatine. It's actually right by where
really?
Orbit skate rink used to be. So it's,
shout out to Orbit, R.I.P.
Wait, are you going to play in the summer? Maybe we'll go out. We'll ride
Yeah,
our
we'll
bikes.
come watch.
We'll ride our bikes to Palatine.
Yeah. that'd be
my
fun.
wife, I have been trying to get my wife out to a game until I told her there was a bar there, and now she's absolutely
She's into it.
Yeah.
I love it.
What would you say before since we're going to have to wrap this up? But like, what would you say to like if our listeners are out there and they're like, I am 35. It is not time for me to try to join a sport or get fit or like push myself physically. Let's just put it that way.
This is all our listeners
Yes.
are middle-aged people.
I know
So
they're-
speak to them.
Yes. But if there was someone like out there like that, what would you say is like the best benefit to doing it all?
I think that working out, the hype is real as far as like it is incredible for your mental health. I think body movement, whatever it is, to the best of your ability before you experience pain, moving your body, doing some coordinated effort is amazing. And if you can find a team or a buddy to do it with, even better. Riding your bike is fun, but riding your bike with a friend is better. Playing soccer, I can go out and kick my ball against my garage door, but if I'm on a team with women, it's so much more fun because we're cracking jokes in between.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you didn't do that very well, just ribbing each other. I would say that it's part of why I do it and continue to do it is don't let the old man in. I think it's very true. If you stop, you stick. So, the times when I'm a lazy bum and don't do anything and I lay on the couch and watch movies all weekend is when my body hurts the next day.
Yeah.
So I need to do something. Personally, again, just like having the back issues that I've had, I know what I need to do for my body to keep moving. I get bored really easily doing one thing. So being in different sports, going on different pieces of equipment, find what works for you, even if it's 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah. I love that.
I know. Alice is the best. I told you she's one of the best humans on the planet.
I love it. I mean, I feel like I learned a lot from, especially, like, obviously our first season in Team Tough Muff, but especially from, like, our Ohio trip. Because when you're riding that long and that hard for, under conditions that fucking suck.
Right. And for the listeners, we were averaging about 75 to 80 miles a day for the first 4 days.
Yeah. And one of the days it was super fucking hot
Yeah.
and then like a lot of uphill. I mean, the thing that I noticed, not to get all zen with you guys, but when you're doing it, like we're talking about hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And you're going on like an entire mental journey the whole time. And you're kind of, there's that voice, that's like watching the journey, but the journey can be very loud, that's like, I would be like, I fucking hate Elizabeth so fucking much right now. Like this bitch makes me do shit. Like I'm so mad. I fucking hate her. And then like the next minute I'd be like, I don't want to fucking climb any more hills. But you can't control if there's another hill. Like I would be going through like these huge, like ridiculous, like big metaphoric moments. And I think it did give me a lot of perspective about just like how nothing's permanent, like it fucking as soon as we get off the bike and have some water and a snack, I wouldn't hate her anymore. I'd be like, she'd be cracking me up. We'd be having a nice time, or she'd change the music and it would be like, oh, okay. But like, it really did kind of teach me a lot about like, not only how far I can push myself, but just about like things are always changing, and that the thoughts and the soundtrack you hear is not always what's actually true or accurate.
And I think to Alice's point, having a buddy to do that,
Yeah.
because originally I was like, I'm going to just do this by myself. And then when you said that you would do it with me, because I was sure
That's
that
not how it went. She presented it to me.
correct. But you agreed, and I did not think that you would agree.
Yes, I was going to say
That's why I
she wasn't like, I'm going to do it by myself. She presented it to me and thought I would say no. And I was like, I fucking hate COVID. I hate this family. I hate everyone here. Like nothing sounds better than just riding away on a bicycle.
I mean, I was definitely like, because I was like, this is something that I've always wanted to do, is to prove something to myself, right? And when you agreed, I was shocked.
Yes,
I was shocked, and then I was really proud of you, though. Like the whole time we were on our bikes for like 8 to 9 hours some days, and you were just like. You definitely had moments where you're like, I could tell that you're going to break down, but you just kept it all inside.
Yeah.
You girded your body.
Yeah.
You're ready. Like, you're just like, I'm just going to go. Like, complaining is not going to help here.
Yeah.
But to your point, Alice, is that ride was 1,000 times more fun because I got to go with you as opposed to being alone, because that would have been really boring, I think, at the end of the day. But
well, you're going to find out in just a couple weeks because she's training to ride a little century all by herself in May.
Yep, in Virginia.
I think you are going to miss me a lot.
I will. But we also, like, at the end of the ride, I think that we both felt very proud of ourselves. And there was, again, to your point, is like, there's something very wonderful about pushing your body and then being like, I fucking did that. Like, I did that. Yeah. And then we went into a Turkish spa and had to use a Fila mat with our naked butts on it.
Yeah, that was a lot. But to your point, before that, this is what Rocky says. He says to his son, when they're, in a big moment, he says, going one more round when you don't think you can makes all the difference in life.
Right.
Yes. Yes. I think we got to leave it there.
God. Yes, it's perfect.
We got to leave it there.
Ending.
Oh, my God.
Should people watch Rocky? That's the final thoughts. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and watch the Creed ones too, because Michael B. Jordan is hot as hell in those. And there's a great scene in at least one of the first Creeds where Rocky writes down this whole like training shit for Creed, and Creed like takes a picture of it on his phone and throws the paper away, and Rocky's like, "What the fuck?" So watch it for that. A little,
What do you think, Alice?
Yeah, it was okay.
Do you have other ones that you'd recommend?
Sports movies.
Sports movies.
Oh, no.
Not even Ladybugs? Did you see that one?
Air Bud.
Yeah,
Okay.
Air Bud. I definitely think it's a fun series of movies. I agree. Alice and I were talking earlier about like how generations change and the films get better and the storytelling gets better as like time goes on because we learn mistakes. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say the Creeds are better than the Rockies, but I love the Rockies. I grew up with them. I'm going to always say yes. If you did like Rocky or you don't like Rocky and you like something close, I loved Girl Fight, which is an old movie with Michelle Rodriguez where she's like a boxer. Creed, obviously. I have two other movies I'd suggest. One is
Hilary Swank.
One is actually no. Now that I think about it, it's one is Miracle on Ice or Miracle. Is it called Miracle on Ice?
I believe
it is the hockey one, which is about the U.S. hockey team playing against the Soviets and winning, obviously. And my last one would be Indivisible. Is that the word? Invincible? Invincible. Which is about Mark Wahlberg, who is playing a bartender who enters a contest to be a Philadelphia Eagle when he's 30 and also wins.
Yeah.
It made me cry on a plane.
My favorite sports movie won't come as a surprise. Obviously, it's The Cutting Edge.
Ooh. I thought you were going to call that one. I thought you were going to call it.
That's one I will not let her watch on this podcast because I'm like, it can't be ruined. I will lose my shit.
Topic.
Yeah. We definitely would not. Would you recommend Whip It, Alice?
Yes.
You would?
Is that a no?
Alice is like, I'm leaving.
I can't tell if it was a yes or a no for Whip It.
These things don't stick for me. I don't. No. I mean, like, I think I enjoyed it. My friends were in it.
Yeah.
I think it was good.
Yeah. It didn't get great reviews.
I hated it. Yeah. I hated it. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Do the Rocky song again. No pain.
Thanks for listening to Don't Ruin This For Me. Special thanks to the Lincoln Lodge and our producer, Christine Ferreira, and our graphic designer, Jessica Savage. Hey, Sav.
Hey. And hey, are you guys looking for even more Adrienne and Elizabeth? Who isn't? Check out our Substack newsletter, Where the Fuck's My Happy Ending, and Mixed Race Tape. And follow the pod on Instagram at Don't Ruin This Pod.
Come back next week for Mommy Dearest. Oof. Christina! No more
Ever. And don't forget to elevate middle-aged women's voices by rating and reviewing us on your favorite podcast app. And that's it.
That's it.
That's the end of the day.
Alice, thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.